Okay, so can everybody see my screen? Hopefully you guys can.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yep. Awesome. Thank you. So welcome everybody to the Financial Advisory Webinar Series panel. So this is the finale. So we've got all the apps except for one that they couldn't make it. Hopefully they're going to be able to email over some of the answers to the questions though. So thank you everybody for taking the time out of your day to be able to come back. And this is just kind of going to be a nice summary. We're going to give everybody the opportunity to summarize their apps and excuse me, sorry, and their services. We've got some main questions, and then if there's time at the end of it, we'll open it up for a couple of questions that you guys can just type into chat. So that's great. So let's just get started. There we are. So that's myself. Just a quick reminder of myself, although everybody already knows, I'm not going to read through all of this. Just a couple of most recent highlights is I was honored, I guess, with receiving the IPBC, which is our Institute of Professional Bookkeepers of Canada 2019 Professional Leader of the Year Award. It was the first year for that. Our Bookkeepers Bootcamp qualified for CEC credits in 2018, and we were the Global Firm of the Future for 2018 and Canadian runner-up for 2017. And I was found to be one of Practice Ignition's top 50 women in accounting in 2018. So definitely lots of accolades, and it's only because of wonderful partners out here that we have that help keep us relevant. So thank you very much to everybody. So this webinar has been submitted for continuing education credits through IPBC. There is a delay. We are still waiting for the final approval from mid-September on. The group just hasn't had a chance to meet yet. There is no expectation that it will not qualify for credits. As soon as we get the approval, we'll be issuing your CEC credits for everything. Hopefully they'll be able just to send through the mass approvals all at once, and then we'll be issuing all of your credits and sending them out for all of them. I am keeping track. In order to qualify for the credits, there will be 2 polls. I'm just gonna I haven't set the polls up. I just realized that I didn't set the polls up, so we're just going to answer those in chat, so that way there will be a record of it. Recording of the webinar will be emailed within 2 days, and again, the certificates will be sent out within 2 weeks of receival. So that is it for that. So what we're going to do is we are just going to, the format for this is we are just going to go through everybody. I figured it was better to go in order of this series. So we'll just go through. Everybody will have 2 minutes to kind of give a brief recap of any information that you want people to know about your app, you know, what you do that's different. Again, you know, your biggest bang, and then we'll dig into some questions. So we will start first with Rondell Corlick from Busy Nest.
Hey, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you great.
Okay, so the real question isn't really which app you should be choosing, but rather who do you need to be and how are you going to show up in the relationship with your clients? It doesn't matter which app you choose. All of them are going to diagnose financial pain well. However, if you want to cure it and help your clients to achieve a desired transformation, well, that's a totally different ball game. Your clients are financially illiterate. That's why I wrote Financial Foreplay, and Intuit flew me to San Jose to give 2 sessions on combating chronic poverty mindset. There's a recorded version, and I'm actually going to share it with everybody so that they can get my best tips and strategies for teaching financial literacy without trying to make your clients into accountants. And I'm also going to share why financial literacy alone is never going to be enough. Most of your clients also have chronic poverty mindset. I call it stinking thinking. And I teach you how to fix that as well. Right now, you're kind of at a crossroads, right? It's a choice between selling a dashboard for $100 a month or learning how to sell $1,000 to $5,000 a month in impact by collaborating with your clients to cure the pain and deliver a heck of a lot more value. You're either a dashboard reseller or you are now in the business of what I call moving from accounting to accountability. So I've created a way to help you get to your goal of curing cash flow, becoming the #1 person that your client turns to for help, and just getting paid based on the value you bring. I've put together a 12-month step-by-step coaching program valued at over $12,000, and I've pretty much created a way you can get access to it for less than $11 a day. Plus, I'm going to give everybody a money-back guarantee. So here's the thing. My software is going to do heavy lifting for you, But more importantly, I'm going to personally deliver the mastermind training every month. I've never done this before. If it sounds like a good deal, then just reach out to Tanya or I via the links that we're about to share. And here's the thing, I'm only making 10 spots available, and 2 of them are already spoken for. So if you want to be in, there's only 8 left, and I would love to teach you how to do this.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Rindalyn. Then we have Chada was next. So Chada. We've got Erica and Robin from Chada, by the way, lady, or everybody.
Well, awesome. Betty and Veronica happening over here. But super bummed to go second because following that is really tough, especially on a Monday morning. So thank you for that, Rhonda. But yeah, we're Chada.ai, and we are a very robust analytics tool. But what we're really designed for is the advanced level advisory work. And so what we want to get across today is the idea that you don't hire an app or bring an app into your app stack to do all of the work for you. You want to bring an app into your app stack so that you have an environment where you can successfully do the work that you want to do. So what we've designed our app to be is a bit of an advisory studio. It's a place where it's an environment for you to do everything from cash flow forecasting, automated reporting, visualizations, collaborating with clients, all of those things in one place on your terms and on theirs. So we're here to talk a little bit more about our features and our pricing and things like that today, but we're happy to answer that in the questions section. Other than that, we will pass it back to you, Tanya.
Perfect, thank you. And if anybody does have any questions that they want to ask, I mean, and to any of the apps directly, if you guys wanted to go in and just answer those, absolutely feel free to do that. Take advantage of this, and just, you know, just make sure if it's that anybody who wants to ask it in the Q&A, and then, you know, the apps, once you guys have turned right and answered it, then just, you know, just click off, because there might not be that much time to go, and maybe they've got something very specific that they just want to ask you. So yeah, like I say, feel free to do that. Do it open in the chat. Don't do it private, or open in the Q&A. Don't do it privately, please. That way everybody gets a chance to see the answers, but we can absolutely do that. Okay, so we have Cashflow Frog is not able to attend. They were next. They're not able to attend, and they were not able to, I guess, didn't send us over a listing. We had said to them that we could definitely do that. So we're going to skip over Cashflow Frog. All of these videos, if you do want to go back and see what Cashflow Frog is all about, all of these videos are still currently listed on my website, as well as on the YouTube channel. All right, so then we have Live Plan. So Joey is here from Live Plan. Oh,
hey,
there we go. Hey, Joey, yeah, we can hear you. How are you?
Great, yeah. So Live Plan is a financial forecasting and online dashboard tool, basically an advisory platform. But I think what makes us unique is that it's both a combination of software and then training. We have an extensive training program that's built out that covers how to use our tool, but also how to offer advisory services through it. And it goes through how to package, price, and deliver those services, how to hold meetings, how to onboard clients, how to perform regular monthly meetings. And so we don't want to just provide a tool and a platform for this, because there are a lot that are out there, a lot that are great and have their own unique features. But we want to provide a little bit more and to really teach folks how to do that. So we have an extensive training program that's all designed for that, so that, you know, if you're new to this, if this is something you've never done before, and maybe it's a little intimidating or something like that, we have this whole training package built out that will help you go through that entire process and learn a proven system that is repeatable, that you can use with all of our clients.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you, Joey. We have next Stephen from Clarity HQ.
Thank you, Tanya. Just to sum up what Clarity is in a couple of minutes, so it's a business advisory platform, and that means a lot of things to a lot of different people. So we're demystifying what advisory actually is. So our mantra is making business simple. We're also making advisory simple as well, and taking that through in a very easy step-by-step approach for your team. So this is a tool that's aimed at accountants and bookkeepers to use with their team to be able to show clients how easy it is to have a step-by-step approach to growing and improving their business. And it covers an end-to-end of that advisory spectrum. So rather than just an element of it, it covers it from the diagnosis all the way through to the work that needs to be done and then scaling up afterwards. So that's probably a good synopsis. Empowering the team, solution selling as well, as Rondalyn touched on earlier. So rather than having to flog an app or flog a report or whatever it would be, what we're doing is being able to position in the client's mind a particular value. They can easily see that value that they can achieve by working with the accountant or bookkeeper. And then that signposts nicely into the other apps in the ecosystem and which ones work best for each particular client within that diagnosis. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what we're doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. All right. The next we have Harriet from Float.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me. So yeah, my name is Harriet. I'm on the marketing team at Float, and Float is a visual real-time cash flow forecasting software for both QBO and Xero. And really what differentiates us is that Float was built by Colin Hewitt, who was a business owner of a creative agency. And he's not a financial person, and he really struggled to understand how much cash was going to be in his business, whether he was going to be able to afford to pay his staff next month, all of that stuff. And so that's why he built Float, and that continues to be the driving kind of rationale behind Float, is that it is visual, easy to use, and we recommend that you can even share it with your clients for them to really understand their cash. And the reason we exist is because so many businesses need to understand how much cash they're going to have in the future, but so many of them don't, because creating a forecast in a spreadsheet has traditionally been extremely time consuming, very error prone, and goes update almost immediately. And that means that they can be kind of flying blind, and they don't have a proper plan for the future. So that's where we come in. So we'll help you do that. We'll give you a forecast. We can help you generate one, or you can create one and Float yourself, and we keep it up to date for you with the integration with the accounting software, keeping that up to date every single day. You can do scenario planning, so you can come in and plug in a few different predictions, like what would happen if my client lost one of their customers, what if they hired new staff, what if they expanded to a new location. It's super easy to do that in Float. So yeah, that's pretty much an elevator pitch of Float.
Awesome. Thanks, Harriet. All right, so then we have Justin from Cashflow Tool.
Hey guys, hello from Seattle, Pacific Northwest. Cashflow Tool is a cash flow monitoring and forecasting application that integrates with QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, and QuickBooks Enterprise. It unlocks powerful cash flow insights that you can use with your clients. Loved Rhonda's opening to all of this, because I think the most important thing for all of you who are listening to get out of this is finding the right partner. Right? We can talk about features all day, all the folks that are up here, but it's important to find the right partner who's going to help you drive your business forward. And one of the most important things to understand about us is that we're a software company with a client service mindset. So many of you guys have gotten really excited about a software tool, but found that it wasn't as intuitive to use, the support and training wasn't there, you have trouble selling it to your clients. We've built a partner program in addition to the software that tackles all that. So this was built by accounting professionals. I myself am a CPA that has all the support, training, and resources to help you get up and running so that you can use the tool to have a turnkey service offering that you can provide your clients. So that's probably the most important thing to recognize here with Cashflow Tool is the pairing of the software, the great technology that Finagraph is known for, with the resources, support, and training that you need to really deliver. Thanks, Tanya.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. All right, then we had PayPie next. So we have Nick from PayPie on the line.
Thanks, Tanya. I'm Nick from PayPie. We have built an AI-powered short-term forecasting tool that can help solve problems faced by small business owners on day-to-day basis. We make it very easy for you to understand what will happen to your cash if your invoice doesn't get paid in the next 5 days, or what will happen to your cash in the next 3 months or so. We fetch your invoices, your bills, and other transactions on day-to-day basis so that we can accurately predict how much cash you will have next week or next month or so on. One of the most popular feature in our app is a scenario planning tool, where you can quickly model the effects of the future outcomes or decisions with your cash. Like you are planning to hire a new employee, or you have a 15% drop in your sales. So what's going to happen to your cash? You can create different kind of scenario, including if you apply for some kind of line of credit or loan from the bank account, how that's going to deal with your cash flow, all those kind of things. We have some other features in our app too, and the goal here is to find all the bottlenecks so that you can understand the data and you can develop a plan of action to talk to your client and help them answer all the difficult questions that they might have. So I suggest you check us out and look at what's going on around cash flow of your clients. We are here to help you and work with you, and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nick. All right, then next we had Tally Street. So we've got Jim from Tally Street on the call.
Good morning and afternoon, depending on where you're at in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Or very early morning in the Australian case.
That's right. That's right. That's pretty impressive to be up at 4 a.m. Well, Tally Street's a little different in that we work to provide customer level data and insights to help you forecast your cash flow around accounts receivable. We deal with two main things that business owners love to talk about and really care about, which is their sales and their cash and their collections of their cash. So we're a fully automated, no setup, no configuration, no dashboard tool that is set up to be installed with QuickBooks Online, Desktop, and Enterprise, and allows bookkeepers to take the first step in that growth from being a process advisor. We're working on configurations and setups and tools and tech stacks and things like that, to really becoming that observational level advisor, to growing into that strategic level advisor where you truly are part of the upper management executive team and leading growth. So we're kind of that first step and first foray into that scary world of strategic advisory. So we love to partner with all of you on that, and appreciate the time with Tanya and the group.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim. Okay, and then we have both Andrew and Richard from Futurely here.
Hi, guys. Hello.
Hi, guys. Hello.
Thank you. Thanks for having us again. So we are Futurely, and we have a range of different products to help advisors, accountants, etc. But the one that we were talking about in our session is a new thing called Flow, which, as the name suggests, is about cash flow. So the kind of main sort of selling feature, I guess, for that in terms of using it for advisors is that it's kind of a tool to engage all of your clients. So a lot of partners that we've worked with our previous product, which is a more sort of big advisory platform, find that they're only ever able to kind of engage maybe 5-10% of their total client base with these advisory services because the need isn't there yet, or the understanding, or whatever. So Flow, the reason we built this in terms of for advisors, is a tool to kind of bridge that gap and get all of your clients involved in this kind of journey. And Drew will tell you a bit more about it.
Yeah, so it's really hard to really pick a favorite feature out of it when I guess there's so many really great points about it. Very cheesy thing to say, I suppose. I think my favorite feature is maybe not necessarily a feature, but it's more of a business model that we've made to it, in that our main feature, the action feed, is free to anybody who wants to join whatsoever. We want to bridge the gap to advisors to be able to help small businesses. Here in the UK, 50% of businesses fail after year 5, with 95% of those failures attributed to cash flow or just simply running out of money. So opening up this free action feed to all businesses who can connect from zero, QuickBooks Online, is our way of, I suppose, trying to help the marketplace. But then I suppose I do like the customer dependability, which is part of our premium features, where users can take a deep dive into the numbers and understand sort of how much their revenue is dependent on certain customers, what their paying patterns are like, how at risk they are, and all things like that.
Just one final thing to add to that, you know, the free side of it as well that Drew just mentioned. That's how we try to bridge that gap, like we said, with engaging all your clients, because you've got a client base out there who, like we said, not all of them are at that stage yet where they're ready to pay hundreds, thousands, whatever pounds for these bespoke services. And that's where that free newsfeed comes in, because it's an action feed for their business. It's going to start to teach them things. They're going to start to learn about how their money is performing, where they're spending, what clients are good or bad, the stuff Andrew just talked about. But that free experience is going to get them asking more questions. They're going to come to you, and then you can build that up and start to leverage additional services and bring them into the fold of your big client base.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Perfect. All right. And then we have Justin from Qvincy. I think it was Justin, actually, unless Justin, you had said that. Nope, Charles is going to speak. We've got Justin on the call, but Charles will be speaking for Qvincy.
Thank you, Tanya. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Charles.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good, good.
So a couple of things. Qvincy owns the patents on consolidation and mapping into a standard chart of accounts. So we have clients that are very, very small, from one file up to clients like Orange Theory Fitness that have 1,100 files, and we'll consolidate those files and give them consolidated reporting and peer benchmarking in about 10 seconds. In addition, so accountants can use this to go gain new customers. You can also support individual clients and do peer benchmarking, comparing, for instance, maybe you have 10, 15 dentists as an example. Well, you can peer benchmark them anonymously against each other. Now, the authoring solution in Qvincy looks exactly like Excel. If you're comfortable in Excel, you're right at home in Qvincy. In fact, you can design reports and business intelligence in Excel, upload it into Qvincy, and then have Qvincy automatically populate the data from QuickBooks Online, Desktop, Xero, and non-financial data. Some of your clients, for instance, may want to know how many dollars per FTE they have. Well, you can build these kinds of advanced reports and business intelligence in Qvincy and have it automatically generated each month for each client, which really jumpstarts your advisory services, because you'll do conditional formatting in Qvincy just like you would in Excel. As an example, in red means call me. And so what happens is you deliver these standard reports. Qvinci's got 76 GAAP compliant reports and business intelligence tools as a jumpstart. You deliver these to your clients, and they're going to see red on these reports, or they're going to see up, down arrows, or whatever you used. And they're going to say, I need you to help me improve my business. And so bringing this all together, benchmarking and advanced reporting and analytics and that sort of thing in an Excel-like interface, where it's automatically hydrated, as we say, brought together for you, is going to really help your clients want to connect with you for advisory services, because they know everything about fried chicken or bowling or whatever their specialty is, but they're not financial people. And this will help you interpret the data for them and deliver business intelligence to them. And what's really, really important is after you deliver, the normal statement of cash flows and P&L and balance sheets and those kind of things, then, the next thing they're going to say is, okay, listen, I need something customized for me. And with Qvincy, if you know Excel, you can go in and build a completely customized package for that client if you want to. Use standard packages for all of them, or build customized packages, and really you're limited to what your imagination can come up with. So, and one final thing, Qvincy has over 30,000 accountants and clients that are syncing files with us and are doing reporting and whatnot, from all the way from BDO all the way down to single person accounting firms. So no client is really too large for Qvincy, and no client's really too small for Qvincy. And we take you home. We have a full onboarding experience. We will set this up for you, show you how to use it. Again, if you're comfortable with Excel, you're going to hop right in and get busy generating highly advanced reports and KPIs for your clients. Thanks, Tanya.
Wonderful. Thanks, Charles. Okay, and then we have, to finish this off, we have Twyla from Helm.
Thanks, Tanya. Hi, everybody. I'm Twyla, and I'm from Helm. And the first thing I always like to tell everybody is to share about our experience in terms of why we developed Helm. Myself and my business partner, Calvin, we have a bookkeeping, accounting, advisory firm here in Calgary. And a big part of the service offering that we have for our clients is Cashflow. Because to us, most conversations that we have with our clients outside of, did you get your backup in, and do you have the hours to run payroll, are either starting with or ending with cash. And so within Helm, a big piece that was really important to us was to not only easily identify where the cash is going in terms of, like, what does it look like? Is there going to be a shortfall? But then next is, why is there going to be a shortfall, that then presents the opportunity to action off of it. Because forecasting a cash flow for a client simply isn't enough. The question that the client always has is, what the heck are we going to do about it if there's a shortfall? Or if I've got an abundance of money, what should I do with it? So you can start to have some value related conversations with your client once you project the cash flow and then dig into why is it doing what it's doing and what can we do to change it. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I always like to talk about with Helm, is the interface that we designed that easily identifies why is it going a certain direction and what day is that happening, what's causing it, and then what the heck are we going to do about it. So it gets very granular in that respect. And I love what Rhonda Lynn said. You know, I find it really inspiring that we've got all of these apps that are really trying to support the industry to help accounting professionals, bookkeepers, accountants, the like, all offer a different sort of service for their clients. That's super exciting to me, because that's the world that I come from, is living in that space of what can we do to partner with them? What else can we offer them for services? Where can we really be that team member on that they're counting on to help them make business decisions to drive their small business? So I love that there's so much collaboration around this.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Twyla. And I completely agree. So we've got to jump into our questions. There were 3 predetermined questions I sent out. We are going to go out of order just very quickly because Andrew and Richard from Futurely do have to run. So they've got a time restraint. So we will let them answer their questions first, and then we'll just go back and maybe go backwards order. So the questions were, what do you feel is your top feature? What do you feel makes your app unique, and what is your biggest pain point that you solve for accountants and bookkeepers? So Andrew and Richard.
Okay, awesome. So we actually kind of talked about those questions when we did the little introduction, which is my bad. I misunderstood
my fault
things
as well.
That's okay. That's
So
all right.
just to kind of quickly recap, I'd say the top feature is that people can get started with our new product called Flow for free. So it's not just a free trial or anything like that. There is an entirely free element. You can use it indefinitely for free. There is a paid for version too, of course, but there's a free version. So like I said, new companies or businesses who are maybe reluctant to start paying $100 or whatever for a dashboard or forecasting tool or whatever, they can dip their toes and get started there. And the unique nature, I guess, what's unique about it is we have this thing called the action feed in Flow. It works a lot like your kind of social sites, Facebook, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff. So for people who, again, aren't like financially minded, it's a sort of experience that they recognize. So that's how we kind of bring new clients into it and stuff. And the pain point, like we mentioned previously, is about connecting with those clients who are perhaps difficult or reluctant to engage with. So bringing your advisory expertise to your whole client base and starting to get everyone involved rather than just, okay, I do 90% of my work is compliance for these guys and 5-10% come to me with the big bucks for those advisory services. And just finally, there's a question in here from Dominique, which we'll just answer and then we'll have to go. So this question about making things as simple as possible with Cashflow. And yeah, whilst our app Flow can be used by accountants and they can provide licenses to their client base and get them on board, it's also built for the end user as well. It's built for small businesses. So whilst it can be used as a tool by an accountant, the goal and the way that it's all written and the way that all the language is made and the way that those kind of behavior forming elements that we're trying to bring in are all designed for a small business user. So we had to kind of transition away from our previous product, which is all accountant focused, where we can, talk about all sorts of accounting terminology and expect people to know what we're on about. But with Flow, it's all very much explained. There's in-app tooltips, explainers for everything, as well as loads of video guides, help library, all of that stuff to make it as simple as possible. So yeah, thanks everyone. Really enjoyed listening to everyone else as well, learning a bit more about what's going on. But unfortunately, our office literally closes in 5 minutes and we have to get out. So thanks very much, guys.
That's okay. We appreciate you taking the time.
Take care.
Okay. Thanks,
Bye-bye,
guys. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. So just before we get into having other people answer the questions, let's just do our quick poll, which again is just put something in chat. Just strictly, have you been to any of the sessions before of this financial advisory series? Just a yes or no, or It's just that simple. So now let's go backwards with those 3 questions. So if anybody needs me to repeat them, that's great. Just let me know. Otherwise, hopefully you still have the email. And then maybe if you can pop in and grab Dominique's and answer that at the same time to give everybody the opportunity to answer the exact same questions, that would be great. So we'll go backwards. So let's start with Twyla.
All right, so I'm actually going to do the questions in reverse because I'm going to start with what's the biggest pain point that we solve for accountants and bookkeepers. I'm going to really mix it up on this.
That's okay. Go for it.
Historically, cash flow forecasting has just been inefficient and time consuming. And so really what this ends up doing is it either means that we can only do it for our really high value clients, or we don't do it at all. And then in turn, we often then don't do cash management at all. And from our experience in working with small business clients, the biggest stressor that they have is, will I run out of money? And do I have enough money? And so really what the pain point is that Helm is trying to solve is to make cash flow forecasting easy. And so when I say easy, I don't just mean that the graph is easy. I mean in terms of the heavy lifting done up front and then the maintenance, because I've lived in the world of what spreadsheets look like. It is error prone, as Harriet said, it's error prone, it's cumbersome, it takes a ton of time, and our clients just aren't willing to pay us for it. They're small business clients, and their bookkeeping budget is already kind of close to its max as to where they can afford to pay for your services. And so in order for us to expand our service offering to our clients in the realm of cash flow, there needs to be a solution that's going to be quick and easy to use and efficient. So that's the biggest pain point that we are trying to solve for accountants and bookkeepers. What makes our app unique is the fact that, kind of similar to what Futurely said, although we right now are really marketing Helm to the accounting channel, we designed it with the small business user in mind. So is it set up right now for the small business to use by themselves? The answer to that truthfully is maybe. Depends on your small business client. But it's really designed to say, the accountant and bookkeeper is going to set it up and do some maintenance on it, but they can give their client access to it, whether that's view only access or actually, pulling off what the graphs look like and having their client understand what that means. And so for us, that's the biggest thing that we kind of instilled into the design of Helm, is that it's very simple and clean and easy to use interface that has drag and drop functionality, because every click that we make is time consuming. It's one more piece that we've got to, one more area that we've got to go into in order to make a change. We wanted to make changes very simple, because the world of a small business owner is that they can change on a drop of a hat, and that they can pivot, and you need to be able to react to that, especially when it comes to cash flow. And then in terms of our top feature, I've already kind of touched on this. It's the heavy lifting. For me, it was important that Helm could do as much predictive analysis as possible, but still giving you the flexibility to make it realistic. And what I mean by that is it's pulling in from your accounting system and going to predict the future, and predict that on very realistic assumptions instead of idealistic assumptions. Because small business owners can't operate on the idealistic, they need to operate on off the realistic. And so for us, when we created Helm, we wanted to make sure that it does more of that heavy lifting with upfront setup and maintenance, but that it's easy to manipulate, because maybe it's predicting something that is different with your client. Maybe it's that payroll has changed, or rent has changed, or they've made some significant changes that aren't reflected in the accounting system. So you need to be able to easily iterate based off of your client intel. So that's our top feature, is that there's less heavy lifting that has to be done by the user, while still being able to manipulate it to actually make it realistic for the client.
Okay. And did you want to touch in on Dominique's question that you saw in there? Or did you?
So for her question was about how to get it granular, right?
I believe.
Sorry, it's kind of scroll.
Oh, she's put a few of them in. Okay, we'll have to stick to her first one, because I don't know that we're going to have enough time to get through everybody. So that was from micro business owner operators. The biggest challenge with respect to cash flow management is to make metrics simple, clear, and actionable on a daily, week, and monthly basis. How does your app excel in this area?
Yeah, so that's really what our app does, is that it does get granular, because $1,000 paid today or paid next week can make a difference for some small business clients. lots of my small business clients, that's true. And so it's definitely a daily forecast where you can dig really deep to see what is it that's happening here and what can I do to prevent them from flipping into a spot that they can't go into, i.e. negative cash flow. So that really is kind of the basis of our app, because for us, with a lot of our small business clients, from the first of the month to the end of the month, they may look fine, but so when you're forecasting month over month, it may look totally fine, but then maybe middle of the month is when they actually have a cash gap, and that needs to be identified. So ours does go granular day by day.
Awesome, thank you. And then there's got other questions. So again, everybody feel free to answer those other questions, because I don't know that we're going to get to them. So feel free to type that in chat, and I'll make sure anything that's in chat, I will put that answers. It's going to be a long email from me, because I'll have everybody's links. I'll have, you know, all of that, and then any of those questions I'll put in there. Okay, so Charles from Cavinci. Oh, Charles, you're still muted.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
So look, I was a turnaround consultant, and there's not a thing in the world I haven't seen. This is how this whole thing got started back in 2007. And kind of the deal is, guys, is if it's easy for your client to do, there's no value in it. If they can go in and run a report inside QuickBooks, there's no value. It's going to be zero, because they can do it for themselves. Go take a look at the Cobb value curve. What you want to do is you want to provide things to clients that are difficult to do on their own, yet automated. That's really the big deal. So if you could have a solution that would run reports, whether it's cash flow or whatever it is, indicators is really what it's all about. Because all your clients really care about is help me run my business better and do things for me that I A, won't do for myself, or B, that I find too difficult to do for myself. So whether it's a cash flow report or a P&L or a KPI, it really doesn't matter. Each client's going to have a different set of hot buttons that you're going to want to address. And so you want an authoring tool that will adapt to what that client needs and what he values. Because when a client says to you, help me run my business, what he's really saying is, I have a wallet, I'm willing to open it, and I'm going to give you some of my money if you can help me improve my business. Just help me improve my business. So you have to have something that's a little bit customizable, because every one of these, the same thing that runs for a yogurt shop might not work for a muffler shop, right? So for a micro business owners, the biggest challenge with respect to cash flow is making the metrics simple, easy, clear. Okay, look, what you want to do is be able to pull the data automatically out of your accounting system, bring them into a database, and have an authoring tool that says, I'm going to take these metrics for this client, because they move the needle for the client. Again, the muffler shop has a different set of requirements than the yogurt shop and the bowling ball guy. So you're gonna take a template that has the ability to create ratios and custom formulas and those kinds of things, and show red lights and stop lights and whatever it is that lights the guy's eyes up. And those are the things you're going to track. And when something turns red, that means he's going to call you. Wait a minute, I think I should be making more money, or this area is this trending the wrong direction. What can I do? Well, you want him to call you because you're the financial advisor. And so what you want to do is have a tool that can author that can customize and author the metrics that are unique for that client, that makes him want to open his wallet and give you money and seek out your advice. So that's what, to answer that question, that's what I'd say. Yeah, you want to make it easy. You need a tool that allows you in an easy to use interface, build the metrics that move that client's needle, and where's he going to go once you start delivering that kind of business intelligence to him. Where's he going to go? He's not going to do it himself, and so the value is high. Then you can do things like value billing instead of hourly billing, because the price of something is what it's worth to the client, not how many hours it takes. You want to do value billing for business intelligence, and if the client moves his cheese to the tune of $1,000 a month, and he's going to make an extra $10,000 a month or save $1,000 a month, then the price is the value of that service, right? So that would be my answer to that particular question. I don't want to consume too much time. We got a lot of people on the panel here. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Charles. All right, now Jim from Tally Street.
Yeah, I think that for us, we're all kind of saying the same things, that the customer's always right. At the end of the day, it's about what they need and what do you want to spend your time doing, and how do you want to get paid for it? So for Tally Street, we want to try and get bookkeepers to, again, make that transition from just a process person working on reconciliations and things like that, which are obviously vitally important, but be able to take that next step and get to the advisory level. So the pain point that we solve is for the bookkeeper that wants to be the advisor is, how do I start? Where do I start? What are some of the data analytics that I can use with my customer to help them have those valuable discussions? And that's where we want to be a partner with you and your firm. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Nick from PayPy.
Thank you. What we see based on the communications that we have with our clients, that our top feature is the scenario planning tool that I talked about before. And we see them using it on day-to-day basis, and most of the questions are related to this tool. We see that they love to change the expected payment dates on those bills and invoices, and they like to make it more accurate to match it to what do they have in their bank account. And unique thing about our app is our focus, like I mentioned before, is on the short-term forecasting, up to 3 months or so. But we go with every day, and our focus is to make it more and more accurate. So that's the reason we fetch all your transactions on daily basis, and so that we can predict how much cash you will have next week or next month or in 2 weeks or so. And biggest pain point that we solve for accountants and bookkeeper is we made it easy to find bottlenecks in the cash flow, so that you can look at all the crucial data and develop a plan of action, and you can start talking to your clients, and you can take some kind of meaningful action based on the recommendations that we make.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Nick. Just before we move on to Justin from Cashflow Tool, if everybody just wants to type in to get their second poll question in the chat, did they learn something from any of this series? Did they walk away with something of value? Just a quick yes or no would be great. All right, Justin from Cashflow Tool, you're up.
I hope there are a lot of yeses there on the chat for that.
I hope so too.
Otherwise, we're not all doing our jobs on this panel.
True.
So just to knock these out one by one, top features, for us, it really comes down to a few things. The automation, so similar to what some of the other apps were talking about earlier, we want to make this as efficient as possible for you. So we bring in elements of accounts receivable, accounts payable, the open invoices, open bills, forecast those for you, in addition to the predictive functionality. So those things that are being paid or the cash that you're receiving on a recurring basis, whether that's payroll, rent, utilities, things like that will be populated directly into the forecast for you, in addition to those items that are in AR and AP. So really saving a lot of time in the beginning portion of creating a forecast and having that rolling forecast so you can work with it. We also have some incredible flexibility in delivering the service to clients, whether that's the interactive nature of the charts and the different presentations that we have. You can work with a client directly in the tool itself, or you can provide deliverables in a number of different formats, including a fully formatted, formula-driven spreadsheet as well. What really makes us unique, it's really, as I mentioned kind of in the opener, the ability to utilize the software to create a turnkey service offering for your client. All of these tools have really great bells and whistles, but it's really important to be able to utilize that to create a service offering that you can provide, not just one or two, but all of your clients. A couple other features and things that are unique: Excel exports, as I mentioned, formatted, formula-driven templates that you guys are all used to seeing now. We have a Cashflow calendar format as well that's very unique. QuickBooks Desktop integration, and also a certification course that's available. Biggest pain point, you guys are all here because you want to grow your business. Where to start typically becomes the biggest pain point. And again, the pairing of Cashflow tool, the technology, and the partner program, we equip accounting and bookkeeping professionals with the tools and the resources that you need to turn around, deliver services to your clients in the area of cash flow. And just to touch on Dominique's question as well. So that is a great question and one that we get all the time. The tool itself focuses on customer and vendor level data and forecasts, which makes the information understandable and actionable for your clients because they think in terms of who pays them, their customers, and who they're paying their vendors, right? So that will help your clients make decisions based on the information, and it's all available on a daily, weekly, or monthly format as well. So thank you, Tanya.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. All right, Harriet from Float.
Yeah, so what makes what's our top feature? That would be scenario planning, I'd say. There's lots of features people love, but that is the thing whenever I show people, their eyes kind of light up. So I spoke about this earlier, but it's things like if clients have plans for anything, like what happens if they hire new employees, or if they, hopefully not, but if they lose a client, that kind of thing, you can map that really easily in Float and really visually. I would also say another top feature is that we can auto predict some forecasts for you. So you get the option, if you'd prefer to completely forecast yourself, that's fine. If you'd like us to look at the historical data and project some forecasts for you, we can do that as well. But you also have the control to then be able to update those and refine it as well. So another thing is that we input all of the invoices and bills, so all of the AR and the AP and any transactions on a daily basis from QBO. And you can then go in and update the date when you actually think something will be paid, because as we all know, people don't always pay when they're supposed to. So you can then go in and update, you know, this particular client always pays 90 days late. Let's just change all of their upcoming bills to a different date. So what makes Float unique? I would say that it's the ease of use combined with the control that we give you. So on the surface, Float is super simple to use, but behind the scenes, it's pretty complex, but we keep it really, really intuitive and straightforward to use. And we automatically, as I said, sync with the accounting software every day, saving you a lot of time over a spreadsheet. And then finally, the biggest pain point that we solve, I think, is the time that it would take. I think, Twyla, you're speaking to this as well. The time that it would take to create a forecast in a spreadsheet manually and to keep it up to date. We really make it super simple, saving you hours, if not days, every month on forecasting. So I would also say that we have various different insight reports we launched earlier this year. So you can compare budget versus actual really easily in Float, see a report of that, and then dive into each individual account to see all of the specific cash movements against what you planned. And we also have a certification program as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Harriet. We now have next Stephen from Clarity HQ.
Thanks, Tanya. So instead of speaking about our top feature, what I'd like to do rather is talk about the top benefit.
Absolutely.
And if that's okay. And
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, for us, that's about being able to deliver an element of advice to 100% of the client base using 100% of the client-facing team. And you know, we talked about it earlier that it's very simple and intuitive to use, and we're empowering the team. So what we're actually doing is creating a triple win in this situation. So the firm gets extra profitable and scalable revenue. The team feel like they're making more of an impact and actually contributing to the businesses, their clients growing and improving. And then the clients gets help to improve and grow their business at an affordable price for them, but it's still extremely valuable. And the one thing that people have said to us, you know, with Clarity is, oh, this isn't for this type of client. They won't want it. It's like, well, don't make that assumption. You know, when we were testing this, when we were betaing it earlier in the year, there were businesses that I thought wouldn't make any, you know, significant improvements, and just by moving the needle a few places, you know, a few percent in lots of places, you can really see how you can't make an assumption. It's relevant to every single business, and they deserve to know if they're leaving profit and cash on the table. So that's definitely something that can be used with every single client. What makes us unique is, I touched on it again in the intro, is it's the end-to-end process of business advisory. So we demystify what business advisory is, and we did that on the call. So thank you for giving us the opportunity, Tanya, to be able to explain what our 5 levels, our interpretation of what advisory is. But that starts with the diagnosis and planning with the client. So working with each client individually and the relevant team member as well, working with that client to be able to diagnose what's most important to that client. Now, cash obviously is important, but it's not necessarily always the case, because if you're making a loss, you know, the cash is going to quickly run out, as we know. So it's important to look at cash as well as other areas. So it's ability to diagnose what's going on in the business, what's most important to that business and business owner, and then working with the business owner, either signpost into your existing compliance services like extra bookkeeping, reporting, health checks, and so on, as well as starting the conversation around business advisory. And then moving forward to all the way through to helping that business scale and grow. Now, the biggest pain points that we solve, I would say there's probably three main areas. It starts the business advisory conversation. Typically in the UK, maybe the same in Canada, 20% of clients within an accounting firm get advice because they can afford it. And the other 80% don't get anything. They just get their compliance work completed. So what we're able to do is 100% of those clients, as I mentioned earlier, to get something that fits their budget and still is valuable. So it starts that conversation. The next step is the quantifiable value proposition. So here we're talking about being able to demonstrate real value. So we can see what the profit and cash increase will be for that business by working with that accountant. And it could be as simple as accountability. You know, I've seen it in my own experience. I used to have my own firm. For those of you who don't know, I sold it a few years ago. Just by having accountability calls and just by having a budget comparing to actual each quarter, businesses fly. They just need that extra help. So even just doing that, you can make a significant impact on your clients. So they can clearly see the ROI in clarity. So when they move the needle, they can see what the profit improvement could be and what the cash improvement could be. So in their mind, they're thinking of the price. They can see, like, if there's a 20 grand improvement, talking whether it's dollars or pounds, and they're going to pay, let's say, $150, $200 for that improvement. They can see a clear ROI for them, and the firm can make it valuable as well as profitable for themselves and the client. So that does enable value pricing. Typically what happens with our members is that they don't value price because it is a little bit scary from where we've all come from. And it can be a little bit of a dirty conversation sometimes. I know Rondalyn will be able to help with this, obviously, with those firms that feel that way. But what most of our members do is that they menu price, but take an element of value pricing from it. So typically it's about 10 to 15% of the improvement in profit and cash as to how they structure things. The last point is about having extra revenue for the firm. So, you know, we're in an age now where compliance revenue is being squashed for a number of reasons. I won't go into that, so there's not time. But what Clarity enables to do is to create extra revenue that's profitable and scalable. So it replaces that lost revenue and empowers the team to be able to get involved more and stop scope creep as well, more importantly, because you can capture that value. And just to share very quickly, one of our members, I was speaking with him today, he was telling me how Clarity's added an extra £72,000 to his bottom line just by using it. And he's been using it less than a few months because he's very proactive. He's the outlier. So he's not typical. He's the outlier. He's just been hitting the ground running, getting him and his team speaking to his clients. And that's what they're doing in that short space of time. So on average, so just to give another example, a top 20 accounting firm in the UK, they trialed they set their account up on Tuesday last week. They had their first meeting with a client. So they had a meeting anyway, brought Clarity out to talk with the client, and they sold an extra £250 worth of revenue for the firm. And that was valuable as well to help that client improve because the profitability that they could help them improve was over 30K. So it's about having those conversations, and that's what we're finding on average. It's about £200 to £250 per conversation that accounting firms are getting back in extra revenue. And small business owners obviously can use Clarity on their own, but the intention is, because it's that simple and intuitive, and we do have separate pricing for small business owners. But the idea is, I know from my own experience, you may know this from yours, they'll get stuck, they'll forget, they won't do it, so they won't get any value from it. So the idea is for them to then connect with one of our Clarity accountants, and then they will be able to get that accountability and be able to move the needle as they need to with their accounting firm. And very quickly to answer the question, Dominique's question about micro business owners, the way that Clarity works, as I alluded to, it's very simple, it's an intuitive process. You're able to understand the numbers and then be able to clearly see what happens by improving those numbers. And there's only 7 key numbers. Our mantra is making business simple as well as making advisory simple. And it's not just about cash flow. As I mentioned, cash flow is so important. It's the fuel in the business engine. but we also need to look at profitability, business return, and team efficiency that we do in Clarity. And that works on a mobile, a tablet, laptop, and desktop as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. All right, Joey from LivePlan.
Hey. All right, so I'll go through those questions just kind of one by one, and then I'll cover Dominique's question at the end because I do think that's a great question to address. In terms of what makes LivePlan unique, or well, I guess I'll start with the best feature. For me, and definitely from what I hear from our users, the forecasting tool is probably my favorite and their favorite as well. Allows you to build a robust 3 to 5 year financial forecast. We'll have a full cash flow with that and full financial statements, so P&L, balance sheet. And you can build that using your existing accounting data or your client's existing accounting data. So we integrate with QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, and Xero. And with the forecast, you can pull in their data to give you a starting point. So we'll base a financial forecast on their previous results, and you can kind of go from there. So it gives you something to start with, and it's easy to use. And then it flows into the dashboard to give you the comparative view between your forecast and actuals, and so you can do that with your client. And it has a scenario analysis as well, so you can build up to 10 unique forecasts per client. And that allows you to play around with things like, what would it look like if I hired a new employee? How would that change my cash flow? You can understand that with your client. And then in terms of what makes us unique and both the biggest pain point, I'm going to address those kind of in one question. I think for us, it's the extensive training program and support that we're able to offer. So we've built out an online training program which teaches what we call the LivePlan method, which is basically just a standardized methodology for how you can offer a scalable, repeatable advising service. And it includes resources there that'll help you package the service, price it, and then even beyond that, we help you understand the cost. So there's a whole spreadsheet there that you can basically input your cost of the service, and it basically has it listed by task, and then that way you can understand your baseline, and then you can price your services, your monthly services, based on a margin. And it allows you to see just how profitable this type of work can be. And then we walk you through the onboarding process with your client all the way to the regular meetings that you're going to have, the monthly meetings, quarterly meetings. We include scripts, agendas. There's a task list built out so that you can understand what that process really looks like. And then, it's been proven to work, and we're kind of excited now because we've been able to, this has been mostly an online training program. We've been able to roll that into an in-person training event. So we do live training opportunities now, like a 3-day boot camp. We had one in October, pretty extensive, with more of a smaller group of people. And then you can learn with us, with your peers. So we're excited to offer that as well. And then beyond that, we have just ongoing support as well. We have an ongoing webinar series that covers a variety of topics. So marketing, web design best practices. We work with our internal marketing team to help you guys understand kind of best practices within that. We have stuff on pricing. So we did a whole, last couple of years, we've done a whole series with Mark Wickersham, who's a leader in value-based pricing. So we want to give you guys a lot of content, not just in terms of the software, we have stuff on that, but really just to help you really offer this type of service, because it is really valuable, but there's a lot out there to parse through. And when you go to these conferences, you're probably told that you should be doing this is the type of work you should be doing, and you're getting little snippets of information, but it's not as robust as you might want. So we're trying to offer that. And then to answer Dominique's question, which is a great question, I think it's important with LivePlan to understand that it's really built with the small business owner in mind. So the majority of our users are small business owners who are looking to either start a new business or they have an ongoing business that they're trying to manage. And these are users, if you imagine these as your clients, right, they're not necessarily all that well versed in the financial aspect. And that's not why they got into business, right? They love their business, they love what they do. When it comes to the financials, that's where they need help. And so LivePlan is designed with them in mind. So it's supposed to be easy enough for them to understand and for them to run and use, And with that, sort of the metrics there are designed to be clear and obvious, and they're visually based. That's both in the forecast, so it's easy for them to build out a financial forecast, and then, well, it's easy. The platform is easy to use, and then the dashboard, the reports there are easy to run and understand. Obviously, your clients are still going to need your assistance, right? LivePlan can help them help them see the gaps between what they forecasted and how they're actually doing. But it's those meetings that you're going to have with them that will help you and your client understand those gaps and sort of what caused them and then where to go from there. And that's the type of assistance that they're really looking for. Yeah, that's
right. Awesome. Thank you, Joey. We are going over a few minutes. I hope that's okay with everybody. Right now, we just have Chada to respond and then Rhonda and Corlick to respond. So hopefully everybody can still stay for the responses. I apologize, but this has been great information anyway. So Erica and Robin from Chada. Awesome. You guys are still okay?
Yes, no, we're good to go.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you.
And I'm a fast talker, so.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm also going to go a little bit out of order and leave one of these questions to Erica so that I don't totally dominate the floor here, which is my MO. But what makes our app a little bit unique is actually the technology behind it. And I know that people don't really want to hear about technology. They don't really care how it works. So I'm not going to get into all of the AI stuff and what it means and what we do. But the important thing is what the technology allows advisors and their clients to do is interact with our app in a really simple way. So our app works a lot like Google Translate, but instead of translating language to language, like English to Mandarin or to Spanish, we translate English to data. So you just ask questions or make statements about the information that you're looking for, and we surface that data back to you in real time. So that helps us a lot, especially when we do expose the app to clients to get over that hurdle that you're talking about. I think it was in the chat, Dominique. And the other side of it is that it addresses actually the biggest pain point that we hear from our clients, which are largely advisors, which is how do I know what my clients need or want from advisory services and how do I deliver that? And what we're seeing with our app is when advisors give clients access to Chada, their clients are asking questions. It's literally how they use the app, and their advisors are able to benefit because they actually get to see exactly what their clients want to know. That's Erica for feature stuff.
Perfect. So for our top feature, I would say that it's dashboards, and there's a couple of reasons for this. So one being within the app, it's actually one of our only features where we've provided some sort of template for the user to use. So it's really easy to start using it. The startup is very low. Also, dashboards are super convenient and they're very easy to sell to the client. Everyone wants a dashboard showing them the information about the business, what matters, and it can give them peace of mind. In addition, with our dashboards, they're a great data visualization tool and can be displayed to display insights, metrics, KPIs. We can even pull in our cash flow forecasting model within our dashboards so that you can give that business or your client a really nice overview of what's going on. Our dashboards are completely dynamic, so they're very flexible. You can adjust them as you need. And then they're always displaying real-time data. So they're always pulling the most up-to-date information from your QBO, your zero file, or your client's file, and then setting them up again is a breeze. So you can choose from one of our curated dashboards, or you can build it totally from scratch according to the customer's requirements or the client's business goals.
Awesome. Thank you. And Rhonda Lynn.
Look, I've listened to a lot of stuff here, and I'm a little bit shaking my head because, let's be honest, nobody wants a dashboard. Nobody. Your clients need solutions to the pain points that are keeping them up at night. No dashboard can do that. Dashboards diagnose pain. We need to cure it. As a profession, it isn't about us providing KPIs and dashboards to people who can't read them. Our clients are financially illiterate. The stats clearly show that like 90% of the small businesses that are out there, they don't have access to any of this stuff. And even if you gave them a P&L or a dashboard or a KPI, they wouldn't understand it anyway. We need to step back from this, right? It isn't about us. If you want to coach me I'm a chartered accountant. You can use any dashboard that sits in the ecosystem, and that will be great because I'm highly financially literate, but our clients aren't. The part of the brain that makes decisions and takes action can't read numbers or words. That's a huge problem for our profession. Huge problem. Because if we want to get leverage on our clients, if we want to influence them to take action, to step up, to actually fix the stuff in their business, we actually have to, learn the skills and be capable of doing that stuff, right? Like, there's a lot of talk on this call about forecasting. And the trouble is, nobody really knows how accurate those forecasts are. And if something changes in the business, the forecast can become irrelevant in seconds. The emphasis from an advisory perspective in our profession really has to be on helping our clients to take action, right? We need to ask ourselves one important question. And this is, this kind of sums up these three questions for me in a nutshell. How much time have you, as an accountant or a bookkeeper, invested in learning the skills that you need to get leverage on your clients? What's keeping them up at night? How much does it cost them not to have answers to these problems? And how are you going to influence them to take action? You don't have a pricing problem. You don't have a sales problem. You don't have a forecasting problem. We've got an influence and leverage problem. And to me, that's high touch, right? Like, all the tech in the world just enables us to do our jobs better. But at the end of the day, the most powerful app sits between your right and your left ear, right? How much time do you invest learning what questions you need to ask the clients in order to understand what is troubling them, how much it's worth to them to have the solution? I worry sometimes that the profession is getting way too caught up in all this technology and all these apps when at the end of the day, we need to, as a profession, be the solution. It's about us as human beings and how we're connecting to our clients, right? Apps don't make advisory simple. You do. And, that's why I'm really, really passionate about what we do and the way that we do it is I don't want us to get caught up in the profession of thinking that, AI is going to take our job and apps are going to do this and apps are going to do that. No, they're not. We are. But we need to step up and actually learn the skills if we're going to do this stuff. To me, pricing is the whole fulcrum to this stuff. So many people have talked about, well, we teach you how to get paid for your advisory services, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, if you don't know what the cost of continuing to do nothing is for your client, you can't price it. And we just need to get clear about that stuff. That's kind of how we're different than everybody else, is we focus on how do you show up in this relationship, because you're the leader, you're the driver. It's not the app. You can have, we've got free versions of our app as well, but that's not the point. The point is we need to build that relationship. We need to get in there and start talking to our clients and start opening this stuff up. So, sorry for the little bit of tough love here, but I think we could easily get off on a tangent about forecasting and apps and dashboards. But what we really need to be talking about is our clients are in a hell of a lot of pain. They're bleeding profusely. What are we going to do as a profession to fix it? And the only way to do that is for us to educate ourselves to become advisors. And there's kind of only one way forward for that. It ain't about apps. It's about mastering the skills to provide advice.
All right. Well, thank you. I do agree with Rondalyn to a certain extent. Absolutely. It is that conversation is extremely important. And, we don't, any of the apps that we use, we don't just let our clients go. And I think a few of you guys, even mentioned that, not necessarily great for the clients, but it's, sometimes it's really easy for us to get the information. But I think that absolutely that needs to be a conversation that absolutely, that you have. There needs to be that conversation, because you're right. Showing clients the dashboard, we understand the dashboards. We know how to take that information and interpret it. And that's our job, is to be the interpreter between the data, regardless of what app we're using, or if we're just using the main software, or if we're pulling out Excel reports, whatever we're using, it's up to us to interpret that data, have that conversation, and help the clients actually understand where they need to make their changes. Absolutely. All right, so we've gone over. So I thank you very much, everybody, for attending. I will absolutely send out links to any of the apps. If there's anything else, any other links other than the original ones that you want me to send out, please go ahead, send me that information. I will pull that together. Just have it over by end of day today. I'll pull everything together and send all of that out by a great big long email to everybody with the links to the original videos, the links, any of the links to you know, set up appointments or whatnot, any deals, anything like that that I've been, you know, provided so far. Of course, I know some of the deals were limited time only. So if you guys want to offer, you know, another last deal or something, just send me the emails. I'll throw that all into the big email that that will go out tomorrow morning, or well, it'll go out sometime tomorrow, but I'll pull it together in the morning. Perfect. I thank you very much for everybody for attending. All the apps, you know, we definitely wouldn't be here without you. Just to let you guys know, if you guys didn't see in the chat, so many people have said that they've even learned more than they'd expected initially. So I think we've all done a really good job. We've got, you know, great different views, great different opinions, see different tools that we can, you know, use to help interpret the data. But again, I think bottom line, it's all around that conversation, which is really important. So thank you very much for everybody. And we will see, I guess, talk to all of you apps again in 2 days for the bootcamp special one. Okay. Thanks again, everybody.
Thanks,
Take
Tanya.
care.
Thanks,
Have a great
Tanya.
day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.